All right, folks, if you're on the live stream, well, let me know. Drop a message, drop a like. This is my wife, Adrienne, here, if you haven't seen her yet. So she's gonna be here helping moderate all the questions. And we already have a bunch of questions in from people who have submitted them previous to now. But if you have questions, go ahead and...
Oh my gosh. I'm so sleepy.
Go ahead and post them. But we're still a few minutes early on here. So it won't get started quite yet. Get started in about 2 minutes. So if you want to grab a drink, hit the bathroom, do what you got to do before we kick things off.
What are we going to do for 2 minutes?
I don't know. People can probably make out with the people they want.
That is not what this live is about at all.
That's true. That's true. That'd be a whole nother direction to take the channel in, I guess.
I mean, we could, but
Yeah.
I ain't trying to share, so
I know, right?
that's nobody's business.
You can make that money, though.
Although, the money would be nice.
Hey, Jared.
That's covering up your face, babe.
What's covering my face?
The comment?
Oh. Well, the comment's only visible to me, I think. Right?
I don't know. I've never done so. I don't do, you asked me about Instagram.
Zach,
I got
how you doing, man?
Let me see.
Let's see here. What we got? Our face is not covered. Appreciate that, man. All right. So we have 1 minute. All right. Urban Outdoors. I see you, brother. I'm gonna try to, man. I'm heading out tomorrow morning. We'll see how the fishing goes. I think that water's gonna be high, and you know.
Going out tomorrow and Sunday.
I'm a lucky guy. I don't know what to say. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you, brother.
Gone all weekend.
Yeah. From what, 3 in the morning until I don't know how late, but late.
Keep bragging about it. That's good.
Thanks, Mike.
Good. Keep bragging about it.
Bruce, good deal, man. Is that the amped up competition we were talking about? Hey, Greg.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to keep up with those comments.
I'm not. I'm gonna need your help. Oh, if you hear a stampede in a moment, my kids are coming back in the house from swimming. So, Savannah Rapids Pavilion. God, that takes me back, man.
Oh man,
I missed that place.
I used to go running out there all the time.
Hi, Blair.
Hi, Blair. Please go get some clothes on.
Hey, thanks for the good luck shout out, man. And yeah, midges, I'm in Maryland. Yeah.
But we used to live in Georgia.
Yeah, that was our last duty station. We were both in the Army. So I used to do a lot of fishing down there. Hey, Tommy, how you doing, man?
And we got our undergrad degrees at Augusta University. So we had 2 kids in Augusta, definitely lived in Augusta for a long time.
Hey, good luck on Dundee, Greg. All right, folks, we got it.
I don't like how weird it is that the lens is over there. I don't like that.
Hey, congrats, man. Your first shoal bass. That's awesome, dude.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's don't worry about that. Rock of the Marne.
Oh my
God,
gosh.
you're taking me back now, man. Oh, you're taking me back.
We're not going to talk about...
But we'll keep most of this focused on the fishing today and try to minimize the tangents on military talk.
I'll try my best to engage you all in conversation because this is not my domain at all.
She's talked about doing voiceover narration on my videos before, but anytime I start sweet talking to fish,
I be wanting to turn it off and I'm gonna delete it, and then he won't have any content for y'all. So
yeah,
that wouldn't be good. Y'all want videos.
Yeah, Zach says it too, man. He wants the voiceover.
I don't know what I was talking about.
No, she hasn't caught a snake yet. First time I took her fishing out in Colorado, she pulled like a 4 or 5 pound, 24-inch rainbow. That's like the first fish of her life.
Back when we were dating and I felt like I still had to make a good impression, I fished. I have not fished in a long time, but the kind of fishing that he does, I don't like to do. I prefer to fish in a stream, and we haven't been stream fishing in a long time. So
how far south? All right, let's start getting to the questions.
Can we actually let's do this?
Yeah, because we have questions scrolling, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose some here, even with my wife helping moderate here. So.
All right. So first things first. Tell me about your introduction into fishing, like how all of that started as a kid, and you give me this, and while you're answering questions, I'll do that.
Well, thank you. So, I've been fishing since I was 2 years old. My dad got me into it. My first fish was a bluegill. It's pretty much the gateway drug for fishing. I think y'all know that pretty well. Since then, I've been fishing every chance I get. I think I probably owe a lot of my addiction not just to my dad, but to my mom, because
she's the best, y'all.
And she used to take me fishing all the time, when I was a teenager.
Put him in the car, drive him all over Maryland and anywhere else that he wanted to go fishing. So she was amazing.
So that's how I get into fishing. Like the name suggests, Kambotrout. I mean, I grew up doing a lot of trout fishing, bass fishing too, but that's how my name came in, was Kambotrout.
Oh wait, can I jump in?
You got a fan for your purple lipstick and the Ravens?
Listen. So when we were dating and we were early married, we were in the Army for the longest time, and every year in April, Stephen would get all sad and cranky, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And he's like, it's trout season.
Yeah, opening day of trout season used to weigh on me heavily when I was in Iraq or Afghanistan,
It's
man.
trout season.
Or Korea, any one of those places. If I
Or
couldn't go
just
fishing.
in Colorado where it wasn't anywhere that wasn't Maryland, like we would have to take leave so that he can be home for the opening of trout season. Okay, carry on with your story. Sorry.
So that's how I get into fishing. I think what a lot of you all probably are curious about is how I really came around to get into the snakehead fishing.
Get some pizza.
And I think I started in the fall of 2017. I finally made it back to Maryland after bouncing around in the Army. And I made it back to Maryland, I want to say in the fall of 2016. It still took me a year to even really think about catching a snakehead. And my buddy Jared and
We
I
moved here for me.
Yes, we did. She's a MD PhD student at University of Maryland.
That's not what this is about. Y'all can come on my Instagram and find out about that. We just moved back here in 2016 because I got into medical school here. So now he can celebrate trout season whenever he wants because we live here.
And now I have snakehead, so I hardly celebrate.
Exactly.
trout
Listen,
season.
when he started his YouTube channel, it was all about trout, all about that. And then I have not seen this dude with a trout in a long time because he's turned into Campbell Snakehead.
Yeah. I just saw someone's note there about snakehead being found in Georgia, and yes, someone...
Probably after we left, though.
Oh, yeah, it was after we left.
Snakehead Messiah, listen. We don't need all of that.
But yeah, snakehead have been found down in Georgia. I don't think it's at the level of a self-replicating or sustaining population yet, but they have been reported down in Georgia. And if they get a foothold on any type of connected waterway, it's done. It's like once they're in a connected waterway.
Oh, and catfish, babe.
And catfish, yeah. Yeah, that's true, Oren. that's my buddy Oren there. If you've seen my catfish videos where I caught that one that was just under 50 pounds, the big blue cat down in Virginia, that's Oren. He hooked me up with that. And I keep meaning to go chase snakehead with him. But one question real quick. I saw one scroll up there was how far south have snakehead been seen in Maryland? Pretty much as far south as Maryland goes. Because, I mean, northern snakehead at this point are in New Jersey, New York, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Maryland, of course, Virginia, Arkansas, and they've made it into the Mississippi River Valley, which means that almost the entire country is open to them because of their tolerance range in terms of what they can, exist within in terms of a temperature range. They can really live throughout.
You mean their niche?
Their niche, that's a good word for it, their niche. They can,
biology major.
Yeah. They can live pretty much anywhere in the country. So once they're in those connected waterways, they're so resilient, you'll never get them out. Never.
Okay, so if you had to choose between snakehead and largemouth, which one would you choose? And then why? You can't just pick one and then...
That's a good question. Good question.
Attorneys.
So snakehead or bass? Now, snakehead or largemouth bass. If I had to choose between snakehead and largemouth bass, I'm choosing snakehead. There's no two ways about it. I grew up. Get out of here with your carp, Tommy. Get out of here.
Catch that in the backyard.
I know Tommy loves his carp, man. But for me, snakehead, hands down. I love catching largemouth. Don't get me wrong. I grew up catching largemouth.
I catch them.
They're a fun fish, but do they hit as well as snakehead? Once you fish snakehead and you get
somebody got that extra insight.
And I
But
missed
when
it.
it
What was
comes to smallmouth,
Exactly. That's the caveat that's coming. But I mean, as soon as you fish snakehead long enough to catch them on top water, and you hear and see that pop, that thing haunts your dreams, man. Like you'll go to bed just hearing that sound in your mind. It's magical. So I love my largemouth, but snakehead without a doubt. I like the way they hit better. I like, bass have their own really good fight to them, but I do like the snakehead fight, and of course snakehead tastes better. I don't harvest them that often, but they're one of the best tasting
yummy.
fish I've ever had. Now,
Okay.
like someone said, smallmouth. Like
Yeah.
smallmouth is my close number
it's like
two.
you made that delineation.
Yeah.
Like you were like, okay, largemouth, sure,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick snakehead, but
Who's
okay,
here?
that's
Oh, okay,
fine.
you all
Go
play.
play somewhere though.
But
Y'all
yeah, it's-
always do that.
But smallmouth they're a whole nother level compared even to largemouth to me. If you haven't caught like big smallmouth, like probably like 16, 18, 20 inches and up, a big smallmouth they fight so damn well. They jump, they're acrobatic, and their coloration. I do love some smallmouth, man.
So tell me when you caught your first snakehead, since we're gonna just go down this lane and not even talk about trout at all, because I mean I don't even understand why we haven't rebranded the channel at this point.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm resistant to
Don't
change.
listen.
I'm resistant to change.
First of all, you don't have to tell me that. I already know that.
Yes.
Second of all, I mean we'd have to redo everything.
Which maybe it's time.
Oh, no.
Maybe it's time. Yeah, no, I'm gonna get in trouble for even agreeing now because she's been telling me to rebrand to Cambo Snake or something similar for probably well over a year.
Y'all love these videos. Y'all love this channel. Like, who got the credits made?
This lady.
Who came up with everything?
Pretty much.
Who gave
this
them the
lady.
software? Who got them the GoPros?
I am.
Who got them the kayaks?
This is all accurate.
Who got them the oars?
Cambo Snake fishing. Maybe it's time, man.
We'll see. We'll have a discussion,
Yeah.
marketing meeting, and come up. We'll get the marketing team together.
But I caught my first snakehead on Blackwater Wildlife Refuge, like Blackwater proper. The part of it looks like a lake. That's where I caught my first
West
one.
Side River. Where, babe? Sorry.
Blackwater. It's commonly referred to as Blackwater Lake because it's the
Oh,
wide,
is this where you
open
go
portion.
like in Eastern Shore?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I know things.
And my buddy Jared and I, we got really lucky. The first time we went out, we maybe each of us caught between 3 and 5. We lost a lot more because that's snakehead fishing. But a lot of guys have to go out and go fishing and have to go 2, 3, 4 times to land a snakehead, and that's not uncommon. That's not uncommon at all. We got lucky. We got real lucky our first time out.
Your followers think that I'm good. I'm just saying.
Well, you're pretty fantastic, so
Just saying.
I'm
But
not,
you don't listen to me.
I'm not going to disagree with them.
Okay, so we moved to Maryland. You discovered this love of snakehead, and you found your spot. But out of Eastern Shore, Western Shore, in Southern Maryland, where's your favorite place to catch snakehead?
Right now, I still have to say the Eastern Shore because I can go to the Western Shore now, and you will get dragon class snakehead. You'll get 10, 15 pound or more snakehead on what we like, quote unquote, the Western Shore now. There's big snakehead on the Western Shore. They're getting hit hard because there's more pressure over here, but they're around. But like I said at the end of the video I posted today, like for me, fishing is an escape from civilization. Like I'm able to exist in civilization
Maryland
because
snakehead fishing.
because I escape from it. So there's very few places that come close to the Eastern Shore of Maryland in terms of getting into nature. Like if you're in the Blackwater Wildlife Refuge, paddling out there at first light on a calm day, you feel like you're one of the only, like you're the only human around in nature, and it's just the whole world's coming to life, and you don't hear cars, you don't hear traffic, you don't hear all those sounds you associate with humanity. And honestly, I need that.
All the pictures come back really nice.
They are. It's beautiful too. It's
So
beautiful.
he
Besides.
sends me pictures of the sunrise when he goes fishing.
Yeah, flowers.
And flowers. Okay. Oh my God. Are you serious right now? I was already giving you a compliment, and then you had to just add.
There we go. All right.
And it always looks very nice out, even though I would never make the trek to go out there.
It's beautiful. God,
It's too damn
beautiful.
far, and he gets up really early. And then who would be with the kids?
That's true. That's true. That's one point I got to put out there before we get to the next question. I'm only able to do what I do because we both work full
How do
time,
you compare Maryland?
students full time, and up until recently, grad school is what we've been doing. She still is. I just wrapped up grad
Listen,
school.
I'm gonna
this
be doing
spring.
it for a long daggone time too.
So, I mean, I can only do what I can do because I have the support of my family. So, nurture your home life, man. If you got a family out there, nurture your home life and take care of those relationships.
How you do that, babe?
Take care of each other. Constant communication.
Mm-hmm.
And
Really?
yeah. Yeah, what? It was like we communicate all the time. It's like I'm on trial here.
How do I get these text messages hours into the day?
I'd say I'm at a solid maybe 75% for sending the "Hey, I'm safe, I'm fishing"
How
text.
dare you ask that question?
Oh, a football question. Uh-oh.
How dare you?
Uh-oh.
Washington football team. Ugh,
Oh, I just...
get out of here. Anyway,
And someone asked if I've caught a snakehead full of eggs, and the answer to that question is absolutely yes.
yeah. I knew the answer to that, but I put it down anyway.
I'd say it's definitely rare. I think I'd probably maybe at most, like, and I'm saying during that time of year, during the two snakehead main spawning periods throughout the year, maybe 10 to 20% of my catch will be snakehead that are full of eggs. Most of them not, and I think that's probably a result of the fact that once snakehead have spawning on the mind, that's pretty much all they have on the
They
mind.
disappear, right? Like
Yeah.
I remember you were having like a hard time catching them at one point because you were like, they're all making babies. I'm like,
Especially with high water, because when they're spawning and they're going to go way up into the weeds as far as they can get, and that's where they're going to do their mating rituals, or they'll be in the pad fields. Sometimes you'll see them and they'll be tearing the vegetation up. You'll know where they are.
but you want to look for fry balls a few weeks later, and then that's.
Yeah.
Listen, when I tell you I'll be paying attention, I don't catch the fish, but I could probably tell you a whole lot. I know about fry balls. Okay.
I saw that one
So-
just pop up.
Tell me, how do you know it's a snakehead before you reel it in?
Oh, it's if you don't see the strike,
Frog.
the biggest telltale sign is going to be your head shakes. Because snakehead have that very long body, so when they do a head shake, the range of motion is enormous because they move their body almost in that snake-like
Oh,
motion.
we getting relationship questions.
But if it's a topwater, generally speaking, you'll know it's a snakehead because you'll hear that signature snakehead pop. And if it's a
Wait, explain what that is.
oh sure, like so snakehead, when they hit a topwater lure, they create a vortex. They void the air from their bodies so they can create that vortex that sucks in whatever they're trying to eat.
They're greedy.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, they hit ferociously, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
They're not like filter feeders though, right?
Oh, no,
like,
absolutely
so
not. No. No,
that's
I mean-
weird that they create that
I know.
in that
They're a very unique fish.
biology.
They're awesome. But that's the way you tell if it's a snakehead if it's a topwater bite. You're going to see and hear that vortex. Now, if it's a subsurface lure, at the point at which the hit happens, you're going to see a curtain of bubbles come up. It's the same thing. They're still creating that vortex just underwater when they release all the air, so you'll see the bubbles come up. So that's two ways to know it's a snakehead. Other than that, they'll hit and you'll set the hook or try to set the hook and they'll go airborne. And there's no questioning at that point.
I just see the crazy like kayak videos of them like freaking out in the kayak.
I love it.
Oh my god! I know you do.
The snakehead freak out and the challenge of handling them in the kayak is one of the most enjoyable aspects of snakehead fishing. I love it.
Chatterbait.
Now,
All right,
see-
I'm gonna just read this. When would you recommend a chatterbait without trailers for snakehead, and what colors for muddy water? And then we'll pause and talk about relationship questions.
Okay. So when it comes to the chatterbait question, I love using a chatterbait in tannic water, which is what you're going to find on the eastern shore. It's that kind of tea-colored water. And the other time I'll use a chatterbait is if the water is stained or slightly off color, or even muddy, because that's the biggest strength, in my opinion. One of the biggest strengths of a chatterbait is how much vibration it creates. So if you can't have the fish key on the visual aspect of the lure, having that sound attracting quality is beautiful. Now, the only time I would probably not use a trailer is if I was getting a lot of short strikes, because it's a little
What's
bit.
a trailer?
So like you have the chatterbait, and then you have the soft plastic lure. Sometimes you put on the end to add a little bit extra action or scent or something like that. The only time I wouldn't use...
So it's like extra attraction.
Yes,
Fish. Okay.
extra attraction, bigger profile. The only time I wouldn't use a trailer is if they're getting short struck. But I mean, I know guys who use chatterbaits all the time who swear by not using any type of trailer, and they do great. So maybe it's a matter of personal preference. I can just say that what I'm doing is working. So, yeah.
What's a lure?
A lure? Get out of here, Tommy. A lure. He's being a smartass.
I was
Oh,
like,
God.
I just got you an oar. I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, so, ooh, I didn't do that.
What?
No, cancel.
That was
Sorry,
close.
hit a button.
That was
That was my
close.
fault. Okay, so we got some relationship questions. While you answer them, I'm going to scroll back and catch some of those questions that
Okay.
people just asked. So, how did we meet and how long have we
wow.
been together?
Okay, so the funny part is that we're both Baltimore, Maryland natives. Like,
I'm a Baltimore, Maryland native.
Baltimore
Steven
County.
is a Baltimore
County.
County, Maryland native. And make that distinction because I had that exact same conversation with him the first time I met him, where they were like, "Oh, there's another guy here from Baltimore," and I was like, "Wait,
that white guy over there.
that white guy from Baltimore, Baltimore County."
Oh, dude.
And that's exactly what I said to him. Like, you are not from Baltimore. You need to stop telling people that you're from Baltimore. That is false. Anywho,
So we ended up growing up literally about 10, 15 minutes away from each other. During high school years, we met each other in Arizona in AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training for the Military, U.S. Army. And we got together in Guam.
no, false.
What? Well, that's a fine distinction. We started hanging out in Guam.
Yes, but we
Okay.
did not start dating until
Not
we got
until
back,
we
to,
got back
Korea.
to Korea.
Anyway, Stephen will not have cornrows.
Although I've had them
Although
before.
he's had them.
Just haven't worn 'em at- just haven't
it
worn
is
'em out
not
of the
going to
house.
be a permanent hairstyle.
No, definitely not.
I love him, but he is who he is, and I am who I am, and that's not going to happen. But no, we definitely are both from Baltimore. We came home on leave together for the first time when we started dating, and we found out we lived like less than 10 minutes away from each other. It was really weird.
It made Christmas leave really easy. Because a lot of times in
Right.
the military, when you have a military couple, it's like, oh, my family's in Montana, my family's in Florida.
Thank you for the kids. They're Rugrats.
We're
You
both-
can have
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You can come get them.
Yeah, luckily, it's a miracle of miracles. They're actually pretty quiet right now. I know, right?
Dare you?
Just knock on something.
Anyway, yeah, so we're both Marylanders. We met in the military. We've been together for 16 years. Been married for 12.
Yep. Going strong.
Okay, can we go back to fishing?
Let's go back to
questions
fishing.
now?
So I see a question about the best West Side river. Now, if I tell you just one river, I can find, at least probably a quarter of the population on the West Side is going to find me and knife me. So I'm going to give you a few rivers, and that way I'm not giving any one specific area. So the short answer to start off with is that Snakehead now are pretty much in every single tributary of the Chesapeake Bay. So you have them in the Susquehanna, you have them in Octoraro Creek, you have them in the Bush River, you have them in the Elk River, you have them in the Gunpowder River, you have them in the Magathie, you have them in
That's
the
really fast.
you have them in the
and that's
Severn
a
River.
lot.
Well, they've expanded their range through natural means and man-made means. Through bucket biology is what the biologists call it. People introduce them. The Pax, the Patuxent, the Potomac, Mattawoman Creek, and like if there's a tributary on the Chesapeake, Snakehead are pretty much there now. And the biggest thing that probably owe that to, aside from introduction and ponds, is that Snakehead do their spring push. So every spring, Snakehead move upstream. Like if you can find the point upstream beyond which Snakehead can't go, whether it be like a big rock waterfall or something like that, a lot of times in the spring, you'll find a ton of Snakehead congregating
So
there.
it's just Stony Creek.
Stony Creek, yep. Stony Creek isn't too far from, not too far from the Magathie. But it's like I said,
Snake hitting is not a crime.
yeah, every trip to the Chesapeake, man, they're in it now. My most favorite ones, I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that honestly. I've only hit 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, maybe 5. Hey, son, turn down the TV, man. You knucklehead.
He has to let us know that he's here.
No kidding. I'll tell you this way. Here's the way to find the best river to fish in on the west side. Find the one with the least amount of bow fishing pressure. You know.
Okay, so then how do you feel about bow fishing for snakehead?
So if you don't know me on the political end of things, I'm shading between an anarchist and libertarian in a lot of ways. I don't like to be someone who says we need a law to stop someone from doing A, B,
You
or
love
C.
laws.
Yeah, you know it.
How
So,
dare you say that? You
but-
love laws.
With that said, what we have with snakehead right now in economic terms is called the tragedy of the commons. Now, that's where there are no regulations on the harvest, so everyone can really take as many as they want. So in some cases, you have bow fishing boats out there going out and taking out 30, 40, 50 fish a night. Now, if you are of the position that you want to see snakehead like erased or minimized to the maximum extent, then you know, I guess I get your position. If you're someone who loves catching snakehead, sees the value of developing a sport fishery for them, then you might eventually arrive at my position, which is I don't really want to outlaw bow fishing, but I'd like to see a limit put on the harvest. That's where I land on it, just because I think they have a lot of potential.
It's not a way to regulate that, though.
It'll be very difficult, especially because bow fishing is at night as well.
Right.
So.
I mean, people are gonna do what they're gonna do.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to say is I love shooting. You know, we own.
But not for fish.
No, but like I mean, if I didn't love snakehead so much, I'd probably bow fish. But I really love the species that
Then
much.
you'd be asking for a bow.
Yeah.
Then you have to go and price out a bow and figure out how to buy the arrows and all that crap.
These are facts. But I mean, I love to shoot. I love the sport shoot, but I limit my interaction with snakehead just to the fishing and diving end of the spectrum.
Okay, so aside from bow fishing,
Yeah.
when you're catching them yourself, what's your favorite lures to use? Lures.
Freaking Tommy. Tommy or Matt, who knows
to
which one
use.
that was. So when it comes to my favorite lures, it's conditions dependent, but there's 4 main classes of lures that I always want to roll with, and that's why I usually have at least 4 rods with me. One's going to be a topwater hollow bodies, be it a frog or a mouse, and those topwater hollow bodies, I like to use small ones, and I'm partial to the color white. Second class is going to be your inline spinners, chatterbaits, and spinnerbaits.
You missed my face.
I totally did. I'm trying to communicate.
I'm partial to color white, and I'm like,
Oh no. So it's so far we have 2
can't reach
classes.
that.
We have the topwater hollow bodies and your inline spinners, chatterbaits, spinnerbaits. Aside from that, you want to have your swim baits. There's different classes out there. Some people like to fish them on a weighted hook. Some like it unweighted. Again, conditions dependent, depending on the depth of the area you're fishing.
he wants to know why you had to wear your boot.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I can tell that story. And I guess the last class of lures that you always want to have on you is your topwater moving baits. Now, if you're fishing heavy cover, use a top toad or a rivet because they're weedless. If you have less cover, I love throwing a buzzbait. Buzzbait bite's one of my favorite ways to get them. And then you have your whopper ploppers. I used to use whopper ploppers a lot for snakehead, but I've stopped doing it so much just because, as you know, as Jonathan Levitt says, if you haven't checked him out, check out his videos. You're never really in control of a snakehead. Like even a small snakehead is so powerful and so difficult to keep a hold of in a kayak that if that fish has a face full of treble hooks, its range of motion, like I said, when they freak out, can be so wide it can hook you. And I can't think of many things I'd rather not have than a snakehead attached to me with treble hooks in it. Because, and that's why I've really stopped using treble hooks for snakehead. And don't get me wrong, guys use them all the time.
Do you still have your barbless?
Yeah. And that's one thing you can do is if you want to increase the safety aspect is to crush the barbs, but then you run the risk of losing snakehead, especially with the head shakes they do and how much they freak out.
Do you still use the barbless when you fish for snakehead though?
I don't use barbless that much anymore, just because snakehead, like for instance, snakehead,
they'll jump right off.
They'll jump right off, and if you're around hydrilla or any type of submerged aquatic vegetation, when they dive down into that grass, if you don't have a barb to hold on to them, it's already hard enough to keep them on the hook, and you got to keep that pressure on just so tight. If it was barbless on top of it, I wouldn't want to guess at how many fish.
I would give
you'd
them my
lose.
fishy song, and they would just go away.
Yes.
Okay, so speaking of hydrilla,
Yes.
where are snakehead before hydrilla grow in?
Great question. So when it comes to snakehead, you have different times a year where that are going to determine what kind of structure they're on. Early in the year, in the spring, you don't have underwater vegetation. So what you're going to usually look for is going to be timber and your deeper holes in the area. Now, the eastern shore, especially the Blackwater area, is one of the few places you can catch them almost throughout the year. And that's because there really isn't any super deep water out there. Deeper rivers, I think it's much more difficult to find them in the colder months, because if deep water is available, it seems like snakehead will go to it. So in the early part of the year, what you're going to look for is a river system, honestly, I would say, with shallow water if you want to catch them when it's still pretty darn cold out. And you're looking for either timber or a skeletonized structure. Like on the eastern shore, you have a plant called spatterdock. And other different types of submerged plants have the same thing. Their skeletonized root structure is still on the bottom. There's just no emergent aspect to it. There's no plants growing up. The root system's still there. And that's what the snakehead will relate to, is root systems when they don't have access to the actual plants that are go up later in the year. Now, in the summer and spring, y'all pretty much know the answer there. Reeds, pads, spatterdock, hydrilla, But yeah, I think that answers the question. I won't go too much further for risk of running off at the mouth.
Okay, so I have another series of questions.
Okay.
So do you do any shore fishing, or is it all kayak?
I, for the most part, fish from a kayak now. I grew up, obviously, fishing from shore and wading all the time. So what the hell happened, Steve? Why did I just stop doing that? Well, for some strange reason, at the age of 30, I became extremely allergic to poison ivy. I don't know why.
Like super allergic.
I have no idea why.
Like,
I could have rolled in it as a kid and had no issues. And now
fling some at him and he's done.
like a full body.
If you ever want to sabotage him,
one spot,
give him some poison ivy.
from one spot, it'll be all over my body. So if you saw my videos down on the Rappahannock on the camping trip I just did, you'll see me wading a lot. I still love to wade in the river. But even then, I had a kayak literally tied off to me because I was not about to have some kind of situation, whatever it would have been, where I have to walk back through the woods, because I'm not risking it, man. Once I get poison ivy, then I got to deal with that for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's just no fun, man.
Yeah, so early when we were dating, we did a lot of shore fishing, a lot of river fishing and stream fishing, which again, I like to do, but ever since he switched to the kayak, like I'm not about that. I got in a canoe once with the kids just to give them the experience, and I'm not trying to do that anymore. So because he doesn't do shore fishing anymore, like I haven't fished. I may go out in the backyard with him and the kids every once in a while, and the kids are just amazed that I know how to cast a fishing rod. And I'm like, how did you think I dated your father before you were born?
Reeled me in.
Anyway. And that was oh my God. I could not believe you said that.
Oh, wait,
all right,
so
because you're in the kayak, and
Yeah.
I know the Blackwater is like your favorite place, and I know you try to be like super secret squirrel about it and call it different names and this, that, and the other. What's the best area in the Blackwater to fish?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went there.
For me to answer...
Wait, so hold on. First, before that,
Yeah.
where do you park on the eastern side of Blackwater to launch? And it says at the 335 or wall A. I don't know what that means. But on the east side of Blackwater, where do you park and launch?
So, because I gave my word to a friend of mine, Jamie, who showed me what has been, and arguably still is, the single best water on Blackwater. And that's because for the longest time it wasn't well known. And it received very little fishing pressure, and as a result, there were dragons throughout that place. I mean, he used to go out to this place and have 50 fish days, didn't catch a fish below 7 or 8 pounds. I'm telling you, it was that serious. I gave my word that I still wouldn't tell y'all that exact place, but I will give you this. Google Maryland Public Water Access. All right, Maryland Public Water Access. What that should do is take you to a website ran by the Maryland DNR that shows literally every public launch point in all of Maryland. It'll tell you what kind of boat ramp it is, improved or unimproved, if it's for boats, if it's a soft launch only. It'll tell you everything about that given launch. So I can't give you the exact name of the place. I gave my word to my buddy. I can't go back on that. But that particular tool will show you every single launch point in Maryland, and it's a phenomenal tool for all you kayakers, canoers, and even boaters out there.
And
Awesome,
when I tell
awesome
you,
tool.
like, he puts in so much work when he's planning where he's gonna go and he's looking at satellite images, like the things that he's telling you all to do in his videos, he's actually doing himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's not giving you BS tips that, oh, I'm gonna just tell him whatever. No, he's literally telling you how he plans his fishing trips and how he organizes himself. Like, he's up late at night before he gets up in the morning, getting all his stuff together, getting his lures together, making sure his rods have the right line and all. I mean, literally hours into the night getting ready for his fishing trip. So, I mean, he's giving you all good, actionable information when he puts things in his videos.
And the other thing.
No, I don't want him standing on his kayak.
The other point.
Okay, I don't like no. I've replaced so many wallets, so many cell phones, so many driver's licenses, whole kayaks because he want to be unsafe and act a fool in his kayak. So no, he's not going to stand up in his kayak. Oh, tell him how you wore your boot, babe.
Oh yeah. Well, one point real quick. Before I tell you how I got my injury that forced me to wear my boot. So the other thing I want to say is that on the lines of everything I try to give y'all, my goal is always to help y'all be better fishermen, independent of relying on me or anyone else. Like I want to give you the tools.
Teach a man to fish.
I want to give you all the tools and knowledge to succeed so that you can pass on those tools and knowledge to other people. I don't want to be the guy just to give you all the information by name, by place, by everything. I'd rather, create more teachers out there. I'll put it that way. Now, how did I get my injury? Well, my injury was a complete tear of my Achilles tendon on my left ankle. So I got that at my daughter's birthday party, which was at Sky Zone. Is that the place?
I don't want to talk about it.
You told me to tell him. So Sky Zone is a place, it's like a big bouncy place, but one thing they do have there is a warped wall. If you ever seen American Ninja Warrior, it's where that curved
Sky
wall
Zone.
that you run up. And, well, I didn't stretch beforehand.
And he's 35.
And I'm 35, and I have, 12 years of Army wearing on my body. And I tried to run up the warped wall, and I literally, the first step I put on that warped wall, I immediately after crashed into it, landed on my elbows, had no idea what was going on, stumbled back down the wall, and once I was standing on flat ground, it felt like my foot was actually sitting like this, even though I could see it sitting flat on the ground. So that's how I got my boot. I tried to run up a warped wall at the age of 36 now, without stretching beforehand.
You were 35 though, because it was at Blair's birthday party.
Accurate. Yes, I was 35.
I know what
I
I'm
would
talking
have been
about.
36 like a week and a half later.
Yeah.
So that's how I got my injury for the.
So who
the
was the
boots.
most helpful when you were in your boot?
Oh wow, was that Jared or Jeremy who asked that question? One of my buddies had to ask that
It
question.
was it was a friend that asked that. It wasn't me. I know I was helpful.
I'm trying to think who picked me up on. Yeah, I'm guessing it was Jared who picked me up the most. My memory is trash. It's absolutely
It
trash.
really is, y'all. The man would lose his head if it wasn't attached to his body.
I really would, man.
He forgets everything.
But I can still terrain associate if there's a fishing place attached to it. But that's really the keys to embedding something in my memory. Probably Jared. Although, I mean, we had
So many people came in,
we had Butch,
facilitated him to be able to
Jeremy,
continue to
Tom,
go fishing.
Yeah.
I helped him put the kayak on his car.
Yeah. I had help all around. Like any of those videos.
Pressing that kayak up on the car when he was in his boot, okay?
Any of those videos you saw with me and the boot on and fishing were only a result or only possible because of my wife's help and my friend's help. So, thanks again to everyone who helped me rack my kayak and all of that jazz when I was wearing my moon boot. All right, what else we got?
Okay, so lots of questions about lures and I don't know how to say that word now, and I feel like I'm gonna get made fun of because I'm not saying it right.
Oh man.
So snakehead charmer less than 2 inches.
Oh yeah, this is a great question. Someone was talking to me.
And I have more, so if you put in bait questions, I have them. Don't worry, we'll get to them.
I was having this talk earlier today when someone was asking me, what do I think about lures that are around 2 inches or smaller? And for someone coming from the realm of bass fishing, I totally understand, like logically you're gonna make the connection. I wanna catch a big snakehead, I need a big lure. Not the case. My personal best snakehead, the 16 pounder I got, came on a lure that's 2.5 inches long. So the snakehead diet, if you've ever seen the studies, is much more focused, generally speaking, on smaller prey items than it is on large prey items. So when you're talking about those smaller lures, whether it be a snakehead charmer or a lily ninja mouse or the smaller live target frog models, whatever it happens to be, I've caught enormous snakehead on these itty bitty lures.
Lures.
And B, it seems like I get better hookups with it as well, because it's easier for the snakehead to engulf that lure, take it down a little bit deeper, and give you that better hook set. So small lures, absolutely, 100% use them.
Someone mentioned that he should do lure, trailer, tackle review, gear reviews. I have also told him he should do that, but the thing about that is you have to actually buy all of the equipment that you're going to review, and we have 3 kids that are about to start school for the first time in their life.
That's exactly
so, unless y'all are going to be donating these things,
I mean, I'm up for it. If you got something you want me to demo or anything.
he loves to take things out and try them out, but I'm not trying to buy new fishing things all the time. He does have lots of things, and I keep telling him that, but I told him he should do like a whole setup video. Listen, I got all the ideas, okay? I got all the ideas.
Yeah.
So walk us through the process of how you make your videos, because I feel like that's something that a lot of your followers really like, that you put a lot of time. Y'all, when I tell you this man is up all the time working on his videos, anytime that he's not at work. Oh, wait, before you get to the videos, somebody asked, does your snakehead experience help you at work, or does it ever come into play at work? Or your fishing experience?
That's a great question.
That was asked a while ago, so let me...
So I work at the American Fishery Society, which is the biggest nonprofit in the nation in terms of fisheries management. Go ahead.
Who found you that job?
She found me that job.
I'm just saying. I mean, y'all, I don't know what else I need to do to be like the #1 fan in this place, okay?
I don't know either.
Who got you the job?
This girl.
I'm just saying.
So over at AFS, you know, it's essentially comprised of membership of fisheries biologists and fisheries managers at the state and federal level. So it's a great question because, of course, snakehead are a very sticky subject, to say the least, when it comes to fisheries management. Luckily, my executive director, who's also a fisheries biologist, he's open-minded to it, and a lot of fisheries biologists, if they're not accepting of snakehead, they're generally accepting of the fact that the published literature thus far, I always like to say thus far because you don't know what's going to happen in the future, but the published literature thus far hasn't really shown invasive impact to native species. So because of that, all the conversations I've had with fisheries biologists at work, you know, they're quick to acknowledge the science to date. So I haven't really had any run-ins. As a matter of fact, my videos are becoming fairly popular with AFS staff.
They have like watch parties for his stuff.
Yeah.
They've interviewed him. They featured him in their magazine.
Yeah,
that
Fisheries
they have.
Magazine. Yep.
They're super duper supportive, but that also translates into they want him to do video and media production for free, and I'm not about that. As his manager, producer, agent, I don't play that. So you want him to use his video skills. That's not in his job description. So you want him to do that, then you need to slide in these DMs and talk to me and negotiate with me about that.
So when it comes to creating the videos, if you want to go back and look at my old content, okay? I mean, like my really old content.
Like real old.
Go back
When he was on the look-see, y'all.
Go back and look at
The come up.
go back and look at my Georgia fishing content, which the fishing itself was great. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, it's always been good, but he used to drop them look-sees in the water all the time because they were mounted on his ear. So they were just bloop.
It was an old camera called a look-see that literally sat on your ear, and that's it. And that, you know, that's going to fall off. But the point is, you're going to, when you first start editing video, unless you're trained in it professionally, it's probably not going to be all that great, man. And you just have to kind of accept that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Go online YouTube. They have great videos out there on how to use tools like Adobe Premiere Pro and all these other video editing programs. So there's ways for you to leapfrog to new levels of knowledge. So it doesn't take as long as it did for me to progress to the where I am now.
We
with
both
editing.
do graphic design, video editing, and stuff like that, and we've both gained a lot of skills just by watching other people do it on YouTube. There's a fount of knowledge on YouTube for how to get your video production up to date, and then we have Adobe Suite, so we pay monthly for all the Adobe programs because we both use them. I do photography, I do video editing, so you can use at two active computers and 3 computers total with all the software. So we both use them, and we just use all the different software. So that's definitely 2 things you can do to up your video game, is to watch YouTube videos and invest in the Adobe Suite of software editing.
I mean, that's the top of the line when it comes to the video editing, photo editing, all the other tools they have in the Adobe Suite. Like,
and it do these weird videos with the background be moving, and I'm just like,
but it's just because I have to really get in the weeds to tell you about how to edit videos. If y'all want me to do a future video on that, let me know, and by all means, I'll do it.
you can do a screen recording and you showing you how you import everything and all that.
But I would have to really get in the weeds
I have
to
to
walk
read
you
this
through
question. Who's that good-looking guy that netted one of your snakeheads on the west side? I think he also gave you a bait to use, Guggen something.
Oh, I mean, I fish with Butch a lot, but he ain't that good looking, so I don't know who could be saying this kind of stuff. I don't know. But no, that's
then that's really rude.
That is my good buddy Butch Huber over at Real All American Fishing.
Who should give you some stuff to demo.
Well, hold on. Let me tell you the story.
Oh, well.
I literally broke one of my rods launching one day. I was fishing with him, and
Jeremy said it has to be me.
at the end of that day of fishing, for Father's Day, Butch grabbed one of his rod and reel rigs that he had with him and said, "Hey, happy Father's Day." So yes, thank you, brother. You're always there for me, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
I just buy him stuff and surprise him with kayaks and stuff. I mean, you trying to move in on my territory with the thoughtful gifts, and I don't appreciate that. So
he's there.
Do you think Snakehead will ever reach 20 pounds?
Yes. I know that we've seen Snakehead 19 and change, like just under 20. There may have been one caught just over 20. I'm racking my brain. It's probably worth a Google search. And the short answer to the question is yes, I do believe we'll see it, but it's going to get more and more difficult to see because the fish is becoming more and more popular. Bow fishing is becoming more and more popular. And as a result, you're going to remove a lot of those large specimens from the environment before they get a chance to reach that level. But I mean, they've been 19 pounds and change. So seeing them 20 pounds or above would not surprise me, especially on the scientific side of things, because when you
it's just a matter of time until they reach their carrying capacity in their environment. They're going to continue to grow until they run out of resources. So the only limiting factor is their resources for growth.
Yeah.
So it just stands to reason that they'll continue to get larger.
And that's essentially how everything works.
I'm just proud of myself for remembering the term carrying capacity. It's been a long time since I've been in zoology or ecology. Okay, what's your favorite soft bait?
Oh, hold on. One less on the scientific side of things. When you have a novel species, like a foreign species in a new environment, they oftentimes tend to grow a little bit bigger there than they ever have in their native environment.
Until they get some competition.
Yeah, so it's another reason I say yes, it's likely we'll probably see a 20-pound plus snakehead, if we haven't already. And favorite soft bait? I might have a new one, but it was shown to me by my friend Bob Stout, who asked me not to share it just yet, so I can't share that particular one.
That is so rude.
I gotta hold true to my word. But one that you've seen me use, and I talk about all the time, probably 2 of them actually. One is the Mega Bass Spark Shad, 4 inches.
Where are you going?
And another is the Kitech Easy Shiner, 4 inches. I mean, you can use the 5-inch, you can use a 3-inch, they're both fine. I just happen to like the 4-inch personally. I'm probably partial just fish the swim bait by itself. I like the Mega Bass Spark Shad the most. If I'm using it for a trailer, I'm gonna go with the Kitech.
Somebody said that in the comments.
Yeah, they know, man. They're watching, taking notes.
So our son just ran through here wearing like an Orioles oversized t-shirt. It's probably his, and no bottoms. So
Nice.
that's our house.
Kid life, man.
Okay, so talk to me about tournaments. What has been your favorite tournament that you've done so far? And then do you have any upcoming that you're preparing for?
My favorite tournament thus far is going to be the one naturally that Jared and I won, which let me get it off the bat right now. So Jared,
Not the one you split with.
for the catfish tournament,
Yeah.
no, it'll be the win. This was the
This is the Snakehead tournament, right?
yeah, this was the Snakehead tournament, amped up outdoors.
Listen, y'all, I'll be paying attention. I'm not a trophy.
Well, you're that and other stuff.
I'm never on your life.
So
I can't do that.
if you haven't seen the video, look, Google my name, Kambotrout, and then look for how to make money fishing.
1 second. Okay, he's not gonna name names in Blackwater. Like he said, look up public fishing.
Oh yeah, if you just came into the call late, Google Maryland Public Launch Access or Maryland Public Water Access. It shows all the launches in Blackwater, and the one everyone knows about is 335. Okay, in the same way that you're looking at like 335 probably gets the most pressure. If I were to launch from 335, because of that fact, I'm probably going to paddle for a while. I want to get away from that unpressured water. But the one thing, and I was like a broken record, my one buddy showed me the one particular launch there on the particular body of water that I think is probably still the best in Blackwater. But I gave my word.
He's not gonna name names, guys.
No.
So he's saying essentially do your own research.
Yes, but I mean, if you use that tool I gave you, you will find this
you'll
place.
find it. If
You will
look.
find it. Okay, there's
Treasure hunt.
yeah. I mean, that's
Okay.
that's something I used to like to do. It's how I actually started with the standard on this channel, was to try to leave you all a trail of breadcrumbs. I didn't want to drop names, but I wanted to give you enough hints so you could find it.
It's like Harry Potter.
Yeah. I've pulled back a little bit on that. I still give hints, but yeah, no name specifically, just because I gave my word on it.
Y'all, his kayak is pretty recognizable. He's literally been pulled over because of that kayak.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
I won't name any names, but I was driving over the
somebody
Bay Bridge.
literally pulled him over.
Yeah, I won't name his name. I know who it was, but I got pulled over and thought for sure, I was like, God, I'm gonna get a ticket out here on the way to fishing.
And then I gotta tell Adrienne that I got a ticket.
And I just rolled in. I was like, Hey, Steve, how you doing? I was like, what the hell? You know, had me sweating bullets, man.
He gets recognized a lot, and it's really weird, and I don't like it. Okay, so upcoming tournaments.
Upcoming tournaments. Okay, so
And we're at 52 minutes.
Amped Up Outdoors has another tournament coming up in September called the Big Liz, and that's a
Is
tournament.
that the one that's a team?
No, this one's not. This one's not team. The last one was the team, and it was the team one that Jared and I won because Jared landed his big snakehead. I want to get that off my chest. Jared knows it, and if you saw the video, you probably know it as well. I caught some goers in that tournament, but Jared brought home the W.
Wait, you told me about a fishing tournament upcoming that's you and a partner.
That's one that might happen. I'm not sure yet. The catfish tournament. It's a catfish tournament. And I never told y'all I won a catfish tournament. I tied for first place in a catfish tournament.
We had to split the money.
Up in Harford County recently, and there's some more coming up there. But the big one I'm looking at for Snakehead right now is the Amped Up tournament called the Big Liz tournament. And that's where you take your biggest largemouth, or biggest bass, but it's pretty much biggest largemouth plus your biggest snakehead equals your total length. So that's coming up in September. Check out Amped Up Outdoors on Facebook.
Okay, so do you have any recommendations for Frederick, Carroll County fishing for snakehead?
I feel for you guys, man. I really do.
And then I have a follow-on question. Make sure you remind me.
So the best hope I can give you is that snakehead are making their ways westward into the impoundments, because for better or worse, you know, however you feel.
Listen, we're not going to talk about the turkey, okay?
However you feel
We are
about that.
not going to talk about the turkey.
However you feel about it, people are transplanting snakeheads. So like they've been found in Loch Raven Reservoir above the dam, from what I hear. I've known they're below the dam, but I've heard they're above the dam now. They're out at, I don't want to name too many other names because then I'm going to start treading.
They're making their way there. Otherwise, you're going to have to come south.
So here's what I'll tell you.
Do it.
I don't like to name places by name too much, but here's how you find the intel. Okay, that's what I'll do is I'll tell you how to find the
You
information.
talking about Fishbrain?
I am talking about Fishbrain. Look at this girl. Check out Fishbrain. However you feel about it, it's a good tool for
I have
finding
a
out what
sister,
species
but
are
she's
where.
not as good as me.
So check out Fish Brain. If you're not familiar with that, it's a mobile app that shows the bodies of water you can fish pretty much anywhere in the country and all the recent catches that people have posted there. That's one way to find out. Part 2 is look for all the Snakehead Facebook groups out there. A lot of guys will just name drop left and right, which I get it, man. On the one hand, you want to help people. On the other hand, I've seen what can happen to small bodies of water when they get overrun.
Everybody want to hear about this damn turkey.
Turkey. Oh, the turkey. I was like, what are you talking about, turkey? But yeah, but just
Really?
But before I transition to turkey, before I transition to the damn turkey, use those tools. Like social media has its downsides, has its upsides. If you want to find out where Snakehead are, join those Facebook groups. Use FishBrain, and I think there is a reporting system. I think Tommy might have actually just linked it. That'll show you, or that shows you reported catches of snakehead.
Okay, so wait, one more fishing recommendation locations. There's this a person that said they have triplets. They can't really travel far from Eastern Shore.
From Eastern Shore or to Eastern Shore?
From Eastern Shore.
Okay.
Let me find where I wrote it.
Okay.
I wrote it down.
So he's already where he needs to be.
I wrote it down. He had triplets.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait, yeah, where to fish on the west side with limited travel.
Oh, where to fish on the west side with limited travel.
See, I knew I wrote it down.
Okay. So the first thing I'm going to say right off the bat is that buying a kayak, this is related, trust me. Buying a kayak is the best fishing investment I've ever made in my entire life.
You made?
Oh, I mean, it was,
I made.
But get a kayak, okay? It opens up so much water for you. It's like all you really need at that point is to drive over a bridge that you can walk down the side of it, and you have a launch point to that body of water. It opens that you can go places that other boats can't go. Get a kayak. It opens up a ton of water. I mean,
the place where I got
a,
his current kayak from, it's used, but the person had it for like a couple days and they didn't like it and they took it back. So they gave me a discount for it. So just
like
if
a
you're trying to
discount.
Convince your spouse, significant other, that's a good selling point.
Yeah, so you can get quality used kayaks. Just make sure you check them out before.
But I bought it from a kayak dealer.
That was Delaware Paddle Sports. But I mean, you can get a starter kayak that's a decent kayak for $300-400. It's not that much. But in terms of where you can
I swear
go
to God, this damn turkey.
on the Western Shore, I'm gonna get to the goddamn turkey. On the Western Shore, if you're in the northern part of the Western Shore, the Gunpowder's good water. What else do we have there?
Gunpowder's pretty too.
The Elk is good water. The Bush is good water. I've already named all these, but Stony Creek, Magathie, I don't know if they're in there in numbers yet, but they're in there. That might hit most of the big ones up there.
Yeah, somebody says Susquehanna.
Susquehanna, that's a good one, thank you. Susquehanna is very good, especially down the flats portion. And up by the dam when they're trying to move upstream. If you watch social media at all, you saw the reports of them being caught up by the dam. But I don't fish up by the dam that much anymore. I think that really only happens when they're pushing upstream to do their kind of pre-spawn mode. So yeah, if you're on the west side, I would fish those northern Chesapeake tributaries. And again, you're looking for those back bays and creeks with a lot of vegetation in it. And that'll get you there.
So you guys have all been really positively responding to the fact that he did this live. Yeah. I do lives all the time on Instagram, but this is Steven's first live aside from coming on mine. So we'd like to do these more. Yeah. I had fun. This was interesting. So we'll work out a schedule on how to do them more often. But you don't know how long it took me to get him to do this. And I finally was like, look, if you just advertise it and commit to it, you can't back out. So He was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to it. And so we'll continue to do these more frequently so that you guys have direct access to ask him your questions and get firsthand information and get some more shade from me. So the last question I think I'm going to ask is...
Turkey?
The turkey.
Okay, the turkey.
I was going to ask about Augusta, Georgia, but the answer is no, we're never going back to Augusta, Georgia.
I mean, we want to come back and visit, but it's just...
Just to visit. I cannot move back there. I'm sorry, guys.
But for this goddamn turkey.
Okay. Tell the turkey story.
So you've probably heard, you know, the most, like at most accidents happen within, you know, like a few miles of your destination. Well, I was on a trip out to the Eastern Shore with Grant, Sam, who else was out there with us? Kevin was out there, some of my buddies over at Chesapeake Outdoor Sports. And I was
Jared trying to get you in trouble.
I was literally about a mile from the boat launch. And God, how much can I say here without incriminating myself on the internet? Suffice it to say that I was not paying close enough attention to what I was doing. A turkey ran out and I ended up in a ditch. It's actually in the Chesapeake Outdoor Sports video. If you check that out, you see my car. You see my car getting pulled onto the.
Cost us so much money.
You see it getting pulled onto the tow truck. You know, I didn't get a picture of me in the ditch, but suffice it to say, I had to get towed out. I was not getting out of that ditch.
And then he didn't tell me about it until hours later. He went fishing. He still went fishing for the content.
Yeah.
And then he called me hours later.
Yeah.
To tell me that he got into this devastating accident. That he could have died in a ditch, and I would have had no idea.
Yeah.
Because of a turkey.
Oh, and the turkey went back in the woods, and a few minutes later came back out onto the road about 100 yards down the road, just to look at me, just to gloat.
But the front of his truck looks really nice now because he got it all redone and repainted, and it looks really pretty. So Jared asked, "Do you ever talk to me the way you talk to the fish?"
Not as often as I should. Not as often as I should.
The answer is no. The answer is fucking no. Why? You trying to stalk him? Just look for the kayak.
What kind of truck do I drive? Yeah.
Just look for the kayak.
So they could drive by and be like, that's where he's fishing. I knew it.
It's got stickers all over it. Like, you can't miss it.
Check out the stickers that I sell over on Redbubble.
And it's in someone's video where it got towed.
Yeah, on that Chesapeake Outdoor Sports video where we went fishing out there.
I got my own live to get to.
You can see it on there. But when you come with me to my spot, brother, man, I need more time to fish. I swear to God, I do.
Hold the hell up.
Hold on. If we can get a big, huge crowd together to find my PayPal account and replace my paycheck, I'll fish with everybody, man. but for right now, my wife is extremely accommodating.
At least 2 days a week.
Is extremely accommodating to let me out as much as I get out, given that I have 3 kids and a dog at home and everything.
And I'm in a freaking PhD program.
That too.
2 days a week.
Yeah. But
anyway.
I would love to stay on here, keep asking questions. If y'all want me to, let me know, and I'll try to do another one next week. So if it didn't get to your questions, I want to get to them. It's just she has to get to her own live stream, and I don't want to hold her up anymore.
Well, I mean, Instagram's limited to an hour. That's why I was like, I need to go. But it's not limited to an hour here. But I feel like I asked most of the questions.
Yeah, I think we hit a lot of them.
Frog or rat?
Frog or rat? Rat. Small.
I think Snakehead Elite.
Yeah.
Or Outlaws.
Mm-hmm. Snakehead Outlaws Elite?
That.
What about them?
How did you become one, and how do you feel about it?
So, this will be the last question that I answer, but it's a great one to end on. Snakehead Outlaws Elite, founded by Jesse James.
All right.
He's a good buddy, works his butt off 24/7 to make our group something really special. So I can't say enough about him. But essentially, what it is it's a group of elite snakehead fishermen. We're trying to get together a lot of the best snakehead fishermen out there. But more than just being really good at snakehead fishing, we are all people who value the species. Because I know a lot of good snakehead fishermen out there, a lot of very good snakehead fishermen out there, but there's relatively few well-known advocates for the species. And that's probably the 2 biggest facets of Snakehead Outlaws Elite, is that we're people who love the snakehead fish, we're very good at it, and we're advocates for the species. We really see the value and the future of the sport fishery. Now, I became a member because, honestly, I got in early, and I already had a following. I mean, if you want to get into these kind of like pro staff groups, I guess this would be a good tip for those guys out there who are interested in this kind of stuff, is that you're going to have to work hard. I mean, you guys have seen my videos, And I hear it all the time, like you must be like one of the most underrated channels on YouTube. The market is really saturated right now.
And he don't listen to me when I tell him about how he needs to market his videos.
All of that. So I'm not good at marketing. I'm just not. I make quality work, but I'm not good at marketing.
And I mean, why are you putting all this work in if you're not going to do the advertising?
Yeah. But if you're interested in something like Snakehead Outlaws Elite, we do have an application process. We have a ton of applications in right now. If you want to know about how you can best position yourself to move up in the pack, make sure you're working hard, you're creating an online presence, and make sure that your principles align with everything I just said about who Snakehead Outlaws